Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sen.
15 PCA.
810-454.
Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. And if you're enjoying the videos, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. X-Men 97, episode 3, and still a good show. I'm shocked and left almost speechless with the ability of a show in 2024 to just be good and not go over the top with the social messaging, over the top with representation. There is some stupid stuff with Morph that adds nothing to the story. It's like, oh, he has a thing for Wolverine and wants to like sleep with him. Okay, whatever. That was never in the original show, not even a hint of it. And all of a sudden he's like mega horny for Wolverine. Like, okay, whatever. But it adds nothing to the story. It's just there. Whatever, who cares? But still an amazing episode. It's got some great action. The animation is during like the action scenes top notch. Like, this is what I want action scenes to look like. Unlike other shows where people are like, oh, these action scenes are great. They're just big rainbow vomit gobbledygook trigger style animations. And I don't like it. I've never liked it from the very beginning. Whenever I first saw Studio Trigger do their big action scenes and it was just flashing lights and all kinds of crazy movements, I never liked that. This, on the other hand, is you can follow the action, you can see what's happening, and it's just not just flashing lights and rainbows to get you not paying attention to what's actually happening. So, excellent work. They fly through the plot. The Madeline Pryor Goblin Queen storyline in the comics was like a saga. They buttoned it up in 20 minutes and it's over. Like, wow, they went all the way through that without ever there's no lasting repercussion. It's just like boom, 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 it's over. But besides that, we jump into the episode. We pick up right where the second Jean showed up. She's like, whoa, 2 Jeans. They lay her down. The Jean that we've known so far in the show goes into her mind and sees that she has all her memories. It's like, what the heck is this? Like, how is that even possible? How can there be 2 of me with the same exact, memories? That's like not possible. But she kind of sees a flash of Sinister, and well, if Miss Sinister's involved, there's bad stuff going on. Hank is doing some genetic testing and everything, and we find out that Jean that showed up is the original Jean, and the Jean that married Cyclops, had a baby, did all that stuff, apparently was a clone the whole time. So she's freaking out about like not being the real Jean. I thought it was odd that Beast like dropped that information like in front of everybody. I would have been like, okay, we're gonna do some more testing. Jean, I need you to stay here. Scott, we need to talk about this and kind of do it like, private. But he just like blanks it out there like, you're not the real Jean. And then of course she has like a freak out. And everyone's like, oh no, like she has a baby now. Like what's the deal with that? Like there's so many implications here because genetically you're Jean, but I guess they carbon like he did a test where it did the age of her cells and they're not very old. And that other Jean, her genes and her DNA is as old as she's supposed to be. So without a doubt, unequivocally, the one that had the baby is a clone. She kind of escapes to her room, but how do you talk to someone like that? How do you explain to someone, oh yeah, all your memories aren't real. You didn't experience those memories. That's like awful. Because it's not a real situation. So I don't even know how do you even handle that. So Scott's just like, I don't know what to say. And it's like, oh, just leave me alone, my baby. Which I think is a little dangerous to like, she's not in the best mind space right now to leave her alone with a baby. Like I wouldn't have done that. But at the same time, these are mutants with powers. So it'd be like, oh, let me hold the baby. Like she probably would have freaked out even more. I guess they're working on Bishop's little time bracelet to go back home. And of course that becomes a plot point at the end. But we see this kind of like a scary scene. Like you would see this like in a scary movie. We have Jeans with their baby, but then you hear Mr. Sinister's name. Like you hear Mr. Sinister over the baby monitor. So it has like a crackly like baby monitor voice. But most baby monitors aren't 2 ways. Like they are now, but like back in 1997, there was no way that they were like two-way radios. But I'm assuming this isn't really happening. It's like in her mind. So she just hears it from the baby monitor just to make it more scary, I guess. Like, I don't know why. But he like activates like, oh, no, I created you. You belong to me. And then she becomes, the Goblin Queen in a full-blown 100% magical girl transformation. It's people, I remember arguing this with people on Twitter when this first aired. And then I'm like, there's a difference between a transformation and a magical girl transformation. This was full on magical girl, spinning, twirling, the lights, the slowly but surely the arms, then the legs. It's Sailor Moon 100%, as opposed to like when Shazam says Shazam and becomes that's not a magical girl transformation. See the difference when the Power Rangers become the Power Rangers? It doesn't. That's not a magical girl transformation. There's very specific things that need to happen, and this hit every single one of them. She's absolutely fine as hell. Oh my goodness. This is at the time you find out that this show isn't for children. This is for the kids who grew up and now they're older now, who watched the original series like myself, and now they're watching this. This is not for kids. I will not let my nephews watch this. They're like 10, 11 years old. No, this is very sexy, and it's a good thing. I like it. It's great that they didn't nerf the Goblin Queen, because she's all about that sultriness, that, it's that evil. Remember the Dark Queen from Battletoads, or the original Battletoads? It's just like, wow. Great. She looks amazing. We get back to the boys. They are doing like a danger room training. It's Gambit, Wolverine, Morph. And they're like, oh, let's schedule another workout later. But it looks like Magneto and Rogue have like all the days planned out. Like they already have a bunch of days in there. Of course, Morph is just like busting Gambit's balls about it because your lady's hanging out with Magneto. I don't think anyone's aware that Magneto and Rogue were bedfellows. Which is another thing that they just threw in there. That wasn't in the original series at all in any way. That was like an Age of Apocalypse thing. And they just kind of threw that storyline into this storyline just to drum up extra drama between Gambit and Rogue, which is probably one of my favorite couples in all of comic books. But then Gambit's like, oh, I'm going to go check on Rogue because, of course, it's going to bother him. It's just, and he loves Rogue, despite the fact that he can't ever touch her. But here's the thing. I remember someone said this on Twitter, and I apologize because I don't remember who it was, but they have the mutant blocking inhibitor collars. Rogue, put that on. You can physically be with the person you love. Where's the issue here? She can literally have children too and everything. Because most of the time, almost exclusively, parents cannot hurt their children with their powers. Like it wouldn't hurt the baby at all. But yeah, they have the mutant blocking collars so that she can just slap that on and they can have dates and go out and touch and kiss and do all that kind of stuff. So they solve the problem. They never bring that up because I'd say it's kind of a plot hole. But Gambit kind of sees like a green glowing light coming out of a room, and then we go to Rogue, not Rogue, but Jubilee and Sunfire, and they're like watching a show, but then the show kind of like starts looking at them. Like he kind of sees that they're like, the show's like, whoa, are they actually looking at us? And this is where we get to where Evil Jean, Madeline Pryor, Goblin Queen, she's manipulating everyone's mind and like making people see things. So we see Gambit sees with Rogue and Magneto are all over each other, but they're literally like entering each other's bodies. And it's like, so it went from like, oh, sexy to like disgusting. Like, that's not sexy. That's super gross. But then everyone starts having like these little nightmare scenes. With Jubilee, the people come out of the TV. It's Sunfire's mother saying, oh, how could you be this? You're a disgusting mutant. You're a monster. We have, of course, this is the part where Morph tries to put the moves on Wolverine. He's like taking a shower and he's like, hey, he tries to go in there with him. That's, here's the thing. Everyone who's like, the LGBTQ people, they love this. Just make it to where there was a woman in the shower and a guy just walks in like, hey, baby, we want some more action. No, that is a big no. Like, how is this acceptable just because it's a gay like relationship. How is this acceptable unless they're already like in a relationship, and then it's fine. Then you can be like, hey, you know, a little bit of like, you know, romantic, like spontaneous stuff, but they're not in a relationship. So this is highly inappropriate. Just swap the thing. It is a female in the shower and a guy walks by, and even though he has the hots for her, so he's allowed to like put the moves on her when she's actively naked in the shower. That's a big no-no. But it's of course it's a nightmare scenario, and then, you know, everything that Morph has gone through with Mr. Sinister is another thing where he's always screwing with the genetics of mutants and everything. He's a bad dude. Everyone's having the little nightmare scenarios. We even get, I would assume this would be an Akira reference, the big dolls, but the big eyes. But then you get like a big doll-faced Xavier, and it's too silly to be scary. It's way too goofy to be scary, because how does this going to affect Cyclops? Is he scared of big googly-eyed doll things? Also, this picture, this is an actual famous comic book cover of their wedding. Isn't that great? You know how good that art is right there? You don't get art like that anymore. But of course, everyone starts running into all their little problems and all their little fears. And they kind of meet up like, hey guys, something's going on. Like the mansion has been invaded. Big old hell demon things start coming out of the ground. Like their literal hell is being like Dante's Inferno. Cool action, great fighting. Silly one-liners. I can live with them. They're stupid. They're silly, especially in this very serious situation. Why are we cracking one-liners? But whatever. It's all right. Then we see the real Jean come out, and she puts an end to all this. And so we see that there's the evil Jean looking unbelievably sexy. Like there's no denying it. It's a very sensual character. I mean, just look at that outfit. My goodness gracious. She runs out of there. Haha, I'm taking my baby. I remember I'm getting out of here. Of course, they had to go save the baby. Magneto and Rogue were mysteriously absent from the situation. And yeah, that's suspicious. Where were you two? We could have really used you. But then we see that the real Jean is just still having memory freakouts about like she's hearing all the voices because she doesn't have control of her powers. It's like running rampant. She's like lost all of her like ability to control her powers. Like I guess like an amnesia thing. Magneto's like, hey, we're gonna run an op on this, and we're gonna go get your baby back. So I'm surprised they didn't bring the whole entire team. It's just him, Cyclops, and they leave Wolverine behind. They leave Wolverine behind a lot, and I don't know why, but they do. They should literally brought everybody. We see Mr. Sinister being disgusting as he always is. Hey, I'm gonna make you into the ultimate, you know, mutant super soldier person thing. The baby doesn't look scared at all, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, look at Mr. Sinister's face. You like a baby would not be scared of a dude with sharp teeth and red eyes. Pops him in the goo. Baby's not crying. The baby looks like he's enjoying it. I just found that to be kind of weird and silly. Magneto, Morph, and Cyclops show up. They're gonna go fight. They run into Goblin Queen at the top of the stairs. Very one was almost Castlevania like. Somebody was having fun with this shot. Oh my goodness. Ooh, you watch this in motion. It's very Basic Instinct. If you guys get that reference, it's like, oh wow, here we go. Morph turns into Magic. Magic's one of my favorite characters in the New Mutants. I really thought she was a really cool character. But Morph is not going to stand much of a chance against Jean's powers against the Goblin Queen. And they don't want to hurt her too. So they got that advantage. They got the advantage of they don't want to hurt the bad guy, but the bad guy doesn't care if she kills them. So we get a really cool fight between Magneto and Goblin Queen with the windows are shattering. He's grabbing all the actual iron bars and everything. And it's the animation is amazing. But then since Magneto can only control metal and she can control everything with like her, telekinesis, she like hits him with a bunch of glass shards, but she kind of just puts him down a little too easy. Like Magneto went down like a punk, in video games where like you fight the boss character and the boss is just tearing your team apart. It takes all your skills to beat this boss. Then the boss gets unlocked as a playable character and they're like a dud. That's what happened with Magneto when he wasn't a bad guy anymore. He's a good guy. He kind of became like a crappier version of himself. But he goes down, but Cyclops just blasts her. Like he knocks her and she's like he doesn't want to hurt her, but he's going to do to save his child. But Jean, Goblin Queen being who she is, she just goes there and just kisses him. And of course, he's going to fall for it because that's like his wife. He still loves her. And he sees her face. That's going to be tough to want to hurt her. Jean's back home. Our Jean is back home with Wolverine. And she's having a freak out. But then there was always that triangle between Logan, Scott, and Jean. And this is like a different Jean. So she doesn't have those other memories. This she never got married to Cyclops. So does that mean Logan still has an in? Oh my goodness. This is very, I wouldn't want to be a part of this relationship triangle thing because it was all over when she got married. But now it's opened back up. That's drama right there. But he's like, you got to focus on me. Remember me, read my thoughts, read my feelings for you. And it's kind of like, Logan, dude, like, I don't know, bro. I can't make the call on this. It's very, dude, bro, hands off. But he's going for it. But she feels that Cyclops is in danger. And she's like, I have to go save him. And like, no, you're not going anywhere. She's like, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to just use my mind. Mind links with Goblin Queen. And then they kind of have like a psychic battle. I love the psychic battles. Go back in the original when Professor X was fighting the Shadow King. So cool. I love that, mental psychic battle. Legion was such a cool show. They do a very awesome battle between Legion and the Shadow King, like in the, astral plane type fighting. Super cool. Check out that live action show. I'm sad it didn't get any type of continuation or any connection to anything. I thought it was awesome. So we kind of get some of that action going on, and we go through their memories. We see when Jean first got picked up by Xavier, then they're like, oh, we're going to help you because I think too much, my head hurts. And then Xavier uses his minds to speak mind to mind. He's like, oh, I think all the time too. So there was that like connection. Oh, I'm not the only one. There's someone who understands me. And he's an older person. He's an adult that I can trust who understands what it's like to have these voices in your head. Am I going crazy? Am I making this all up? Do my parents are afraid for me? But he's there to say, no, it's okay. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you, but I can help you understand what's going on. Love Professor X. Hate all the versions where they try to say that he was like a pedophile and everything. Oh my God. I hated those storylines. They're out there. I don't know how canon any of that crap is, but it's awful. Then we kind of see how her powers like first came up. And this kind of like with the Phoenix too. They kind of don't really bring up the Phoenix here. But when her friend died, she tried to bring her back to life. And like the Phoenix, that was the first time that it kind of like awoken in her a little bit. But that whole tragedy of her friend getting hit by a car, that's what kind of like shocked her powers into like, manifesting. But then they're still battling. They're like, they're kind of connecting. Like these memories happen for both of us. They're not just mine. They're not just yours. They're ours. And I can't take that from you and you can't take them from me. But then she kind of sees the baby. And no matter how evil you are, like the actual baby that came out of you, it softens her heart. She can't be like, oh my God, I don't want to hurt my baby. Then she has the memories of having a child. And I do like this very pro-life, very, I want to say it's sorry. I know a lot of the whole alphabet people have to say, oh, the X-Men are us. This whole scene saying that you're a woman, you had a child, that is something only a woman can do and no one can take that from you. That is a very anti-alphabet message because guess what? Men can't get pregnant. You can think you changed it, but it's not. It is something strictly that Jean as a woman was able to accomplish and nobody can ever take that from her. Very beautiful. I love it. But then we kind of get this like, we need to go save her baby. And then even she gets like, this, the whole psychic thing ends. She sees Cyclops on the ground and she's like, okay, let's go save our child. And man, one of mine looking up at that. Whoo-wee. Then they start kicking Mr. Sinister's butt and it's not much of a fight. He just says, I'm going into the shadows. Bye-bye. And he just disappears. I'm like, well, okay. Wasn't much of a fight. They save the baby, but he has a technovirus. And this is how Cable's made. If any people don't know, this is Cable grown up, what he becomes. They go, we don't have the technology to save him. He's going to die. Like in probably a matter of weeks, if not days, he'll be dead. Then they decide, well, we have to send him to the future with Bishop because Bishop knows a guy, Forge and a bunch of other people in the future that have better technology that we can save him. And then they're like, well, how do we do that? Cyclops is like, my father abandoned me, and now I'm abandoning my son. And I said, I promised myself I would never do that, and now I'm doing it. So it's breaking their hearts, of course, because you got to give the baby up. I do like how Jean goes into his mind and, you know, kind of like puts an impression in his mind about what happened, that he would know when he grew up. We didn't just abandon you. We had to make sure that you were going to live. So we had to take you to the future. This had to happen to save your life, because if we didn't do it, you would have died. And I hope you know that, how much we love you, how the whole X family loves you. Very beautiful. Love it. Great. Well, this whole scene's amazing. Bishop shows up, opens up the time portal, walks through it. So she had to give up her baby. The two Jeans come to terms with what happened. And she's like, you don't have to leave. She's like, no, I need to start my own life. And then she becomes Madeline Pryor. And then she leaves. So that whole storyline got wrapped up in 20 minutes. Hilarious. We get back to so we have old Jean and talking with Cyclops, and he just had like his baby's gone, but that was the other Jean. But then now there's this Jean who doesn't have the memories of being married. So the awkward. Get to a bar in Texas, and we see, Storm's there sitting there watching a TV channel, and then someone walks up. Ooh, man, that weather's terrible. I wish that someone could just, change that weather, And then she's like, who the heck are you? He's like, oh, I'm Forge, and I think I can help you. Cool, awesome, love Forge. He's a great character too. Besides the gas pedal being all the way to the floor on this storyline and the stupid morph stuff that's insanely inappropriate for anybody to do something like that unless you're actively in a relationship. Besides those two things, great. Animation's great. Story, characters are great. I love it. Another 9 out of 10 episode, almost three in a row of just very positive, very good episodes. Let's see if they can keep that going. But thanks for watching, guys. Love all the comments, the shares, all that kind of stuff. All that thing helps with the algorithm. So keep it going. Thanks for staying around. I'll catch you on the next one. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on the video really helps out a lot. It gets the video spread around more people get to see the videos, and we get to make more videos for you guys. So thank you, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.